I sat in the third row of the auditorium, watching my best friend steal my life. The graduation cap felt heavy on my head. My hands gripped the armrests. My mom sat to my left, recording on her phone. She was smiling. She had no idea. Olivia stood at the podium in her white dress. The spotlight hit her perfectly. She cleared her throat. The microphone crackled. 4 years ago, I walked through those doors terrified. She began. My stomach dropped. Those were my words. My exact words. I didn't know if I belonged here. But this school taught me something crucial. I stopped breathing. This was the speech I'd written. The speech I'd spent 3 weeks perfecting. The speech that was supposed to be mine. 400 people sat in silence listening. Parents had their phones up. The principal nodded approvingly from the side of the stage. My English teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, smiled in the front row. Education isn't about grades, Olivia continued. It's about character. Character. I'd written that line at 2 a.m. I'd texted it to Olivia, asking if it sounded too preachy. She'd said it was perfect. She'd said I'd kill it at the speech. But I wasn't giving the speech. She was. My dad squeezed my shoulder. You okay, sweetheart? I couldn't answer. My throat had closed up. Tears burned behind my eyes, but I wouldn't let them fall. Not here. Not in front of everyone. Olivia's parents sat in the first row. Her dad had his expensive camera out. Her mom was crying already. They looked so proud. I wanted to stand up. I wanted to scream that those were my words, that she'd stolen them from my laptop, that this entire moment was a lie. But I sat frozen, watching my future crumble. This speech was supposed to be my golden ticket. Harvard's admissions officer was in the audience. I'd worked for 4 years for this moment. Straight A's, perfect SAT scores, volunteer work, everything. Olivia reached the conclusion, my conclusion. So remember this, she said, her voice breaking with fake emotion. We're not just graduating, we're becoming who we were meant to be. The auditorium erupted in applause. People stood. My parents stood too, clapping for her. They didn't know. Nobody knew. Olivia's eyes found mine in the crowd. She smiled. Not a friendly smile, a victory smile. That's when I decided she wasn't going to get away with this. But let me back up and tell you how my best friend became my worst enemy. I met Olivia Martinez on the first day of freshman year. She walked into honors English looking lost. Her designer backpack was bigger than she was. She wore a nervous smile and too much lip gloss. Is this seat taken? She asked, pointing to the desk next to mine. It's yours now, I said. That's how it started. Simple, easy. We bonded over impossible homework and terrible cafeteria pizza. She helped me with Spanish. I helped her with calculus. By October, we were inseparable. Olivia's house was massive, 3 stories in the expensive part of town. Her parents were always traveling for work. Her dad did something with real estate. Her mom was on the school board. Cozy. My parents both worked teaching jobs. We had enough, but not extra. Not like Olivia's family. It never bothered me. It never seemed to bother her either. We both wanted valedictorian. We talked about it constantly. Harvard? Olivia would say, lying on her bedroom floor. Can you imagine? Stanford for me, I reply. California dreaming. We pushed each other, studied together, competed, but it felt healthy, friendly. Junior year, the competition got serious. Valedictorian wasn't just about grades anymore. It was about the speech, the spotlight, the scholarship opportunities, the college applications. Whoever gets valedictorian basically gets a free ride anywhere, Olivia said one day at lunch. She wasn't wrong. Our school's valedictorian traditionally got full rides from at least 3 universities. It was legacy, tradition. The problem was, we were tied. Perfect 4.0 GPAs. Both of us. The decision would come down to senior year performance and extracurriculars. I started volunteering at the library, 3 days a week. Olivia joined the student council. Her mom's influence helped her become president. I wrote for the school paper. She organized fundraisers. I tutored underclassmen. She planned prom. We were neck and neck. Everyone knew it. May the best woman win, she'd say, grinning. May the best woman win, I'd echo back. But something changed spring of senior year. Olivia's parents started arguing. I'd hear them through her bedroom door when I came over. Money problems, business issues. Her dad's company was struggling. We might have to sell the house, she told me one night, crying. I held her, told her it would be okay, that she'd still get into a great school. You don't understand, she sobbed. My parents expect Harvard. They've told everyone, if I don't get in, if I don't get a scholarship. She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. That's when the desperation started showing. She asked to borrow my laptop one day, said hers was broken. I didn't think twice. Best friends share everything, right? She kept it for 3 days, said she was working on a big project. When she returned it, everything seemed normal. My files were all there. Nothing seemed disturbed. I didn't know she'd copied everything. Every essay, every note, every draft, including my graduation speech. The speech I'd started writing in March. The speech I'd been perfecting for weeks. The speech I showed her asking for feedback. It's amazing, Em, she'd said, reading it on my screen. Seriously, you're gonna crush it. I believed her. 2 weeks before graduation, Principal Hayes called me into his office. Emily, we've made our decision, he said. My heart pounded. This was it. Valedictorian, Olivia Martinez, will be giving the graduation speech. The room tilted. What? Her GPA is slightly higher, by a fraction of a point. It was very close. But how is that possible? We were tied. The school board made the final decision. I'm sorry, Emily. I walked out of that office in shock. Something was wrong. Our grades were identical. I checked that morning. I went to the registrar's office, asked to see my transcript. There it was. 1 grade had been changed. My A in AT chemistry had become an A- from 2 months ago. This is wrong. I told the secretary, this grade is incorrect. All grade changes require teacher approval, she said, not looking up from her computer. I found my chemistry teacher, Mr. Park. I never changed your grade, he said, confused. You had a solid A all year. Then who did? He pulled up his records. The change had been made administratively by someone with override access. Only the principal or school board members can do that, he said quietly. School board. Olivia's mom. Everything clicked into place. I confronted Olivia the next day before school. She was at her locker, organizing textbooks. She looked up and smiled, like nothing was wrong. Hey, Em, did you hear? I got valedictorian. My hands were shaking. Yeah, I heard. I'm so nervous about this speech, she continued. Do you have any tips? Tips? She wanted tips for stealing my moment. How did your GPA suddenly get higher? I asked. Her smile faltered. Just for a second. What do you mean? We were tied. Now we're not. One of my grades mysteriously changed. That's weird, she said, closing her locker. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe. I watched her face carefully. Or maybe someone with school board access changed it. She laughed. Too loud. Too forced. Em, that's crazy. Why would anyone do that? You tell me. She grabbed my arm. Her fingers dug in slightly. You're my best friend. You don't actually think I don't know what to think anymore. She let go. Her expression shifted. Something cold flickered behind her eyes. I earned this, she said quietly. I worked just as hard as you. She walked away before I could respond. That afternoon, I checked my laptop. Really checked it. My file access history showed someone had opened my graduation speech document multiple times while my laptop was at Olivia's house. She hadn't just borrowed my computer. She'd copied my work. I called her immediately. You went through my files? I said when she picked up. Silence. Olivia, I can see the access history. You opened my speech document. I was just curious, she said finally. You'd mentioned it, so You stole it, didn't you? What? No. And I would never. Then, show me your speech. Right now. More silence. I'm still working on it, she said. It's not ready. Liar. She hung up. I went to Principal Hayes the next morning, brought my laptop, showed him the file history, explained everything. He listened, nodded, made concerned faces. These are serious accusations, Emily, he said when I finished. I have proof. Look at the timestamps. File history can be manipulated. And even if Olivia did look at your document, that doesn't prove she copied it. But my grade was changed. That was a clerical error. We've already corrected it. Unfortunately, the valedictorian decision stands. It was made by the school board, not by me. Her mother is on the school board. Emily, his voice was firm now. I understand you're disappointed. but making accusations won't change the outcome. I suggest you accept this gracefully and move on. I left his office shaking with rage. No one would help me. No one believed me. That weekend, Olivia posted on Instagram a photo of her at her desk, laptop open, coffee cup nearby. The caption read, "Working hard on my graduation speech." So honored. Number valedictorian, number class of 2024. The comments poured in. Congratulations, you deserve it. So proud. I stared at that photo for an hour. At her fake smile, her performative studying, her lies. My mom found me lying in my room. Sweetheart, what's wrong? I told her everything. The stolen speech, the changed grade, Olivia's betrayal. Have you talked to the principal? She asked. He doesn't believe me. She hugged me tight. Sometimes life isn't fair, Emily. Sometimes people we trust let us down. So I'm just supposed to let her win. I didn't say that. She pulled back, looking at me seriously. I said life isn't fair, but that doesn't mean you can't fight back. That night, I made a decision. If no one would help me, I'd help myself. I opened my laptop and started documenting everything. Screenshots of file histories, emails between me and Olivia where I discussed my speech, timestamps proving I'd written it weeks before. Then I did something risky. I edited my speech document, changed a few key paragraphs, made them slightly different. Better, actually, but distinctly different from the original. If Olivia had truly stolen my speech, she'd have the old version, the one she'd copied weeks ago, and if she delivered that version at graduation, I'd have proof she'd stolen it. I saved the changes, backed everything up to the cloud, made sure the timestamps were clear. Then I waited. Graduation was in 10 days. 10 days to see if Olivia would hang herself with my own words. She texted me a few days later. Can we talk? I miss you. I didn't respond. She tried again. Em, please, we're best friends. Don't let this ruin us. Best friends don't steal from each other. Best friends don't lie. I blocked her number. At school, she tried to catch me in the hallways. I avoided her, took different routes between classes, ate lunch in the library. You're being childish, she said, cornering me by my locker one afternoon. Leave me alone. I didn't do anything wrong. Then show me your speech. Her jaw tightened. Why? So you can copy it? The accusation hit like a slap. She was projecting, turning it around on me. You're unbelievable, I whispered. No, Emily, you're the unbelievable one. You can't stand that I won, that I'm better than you. She walked away before I could respond. That night, I couldn't sleep. Anger burned in my chest. But underneath it was something else. Hurt. Deep, crushing hurt. She'd been my best friend, my person, the one I told everything to, and she betrayed me without hesitation. I woke up at 6 a.m., couldn't sleep. My white dress hung on the closet door. My cap and gown were draped over my desk chair. This should have been my day, my moment. Mom made pancakes. Dad tried to make jokes. They were trying so hard to make me feel better, it made everything worse. You're still graduating with honors, Mom said. That's incredible, Em. I nodded, pushed pancakes around my plate, couldn't eat. We arrived at school at 10 a.m. The auditorium was already filling up. Families everywhere. Cameras, flowers, balloons. I found my seat. Third row, exactly where I'd be forced to watch Olivia still everything. She was backstage already. I could see her through the side door. Her mom was fixing her hair. Her dad was giving her a pep talk. They looked so happy. My stomach twisted. The ceremony started. Principal Hayes gave his opening remarks. The choir sang. Everything moved in slow motion. Then it was time. And now, Principal Hayes announced, our valedictorian, Olivia Martinez. Applause erupted. Olivia walked to the podium. She looked confident, radiant, like she belonged there. She adjusted the microphone, smiled at the crowd. Her hands weren't even shaking. 4 years ago, I walked through those doors terrified. My words, my exact opening line. I felt my mom tense beside me. She'd read my speech. She knew. I didn't know if I belonged here. Every word was mine. Every pause, every emphasis, she'd memorized my rhythm, my delivery. But this school taught me something crucial. Education isn't about grades, it's about character. People nodded. A few whispered, beautiful. Someone sniffled. Someone sniffled, beautiful. Someone sniffled. My hands gripped the armrest so hard my knuckles went white. She continued through the entire speech. My anecdotes, my metaphors, my carefully crafted conclusion. The speech I'd written at 2 a.m. The speech I'd agonized over. The speech I'd shown her because I trusted her. When she finished, the auditorium stood, standing ovation. 400 people on their feet, clapping for my stolen words. Olivia's eyes found mine. She smiled. That same victory smile from backstage. She won, completely, publicly, in front of everyone who mattered. My English teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, was crying. So moving, she whispered to another teacher. I wanted to scream, to stand up and tell everyone the truth, that every word was stolen, that she was a fraud. But I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The ceremony continued. Names were called, diplomas handed out. I walked across that stage in a fog. Emily Chen, Principal Hayes announced. Polite applause. Nothing compared to Olivia's standing ovation. I took my diploma, smiled for the camera, went back to my seat. After the ceremony, people swarmed Olivia. Congratulations, photos, hugs. The Harvard admissions officer shook her hand. Talked to her for 10 minutes. I watched from across the room. That should have been me, that conversation, that opportunity. My parents found me outside. Sweetheart, Mom started. Don't, I said. Please don't. Dad hugged me anyway. I cried into his shoulder, ruined my makeup, didn't care. That night, I lay in bed scrolling through social media. Everyone was posting about graduation. Olivia's posts had hundreds of likes, videos of her speech, comments calling her inspiring and brilliant. My phone buzzed, a text from unknown number. You know what she did. Do something about it. M.R. Mrs. Rodriguez, my English teacher. I stared at that text for an hour. Do something. But what? Everyone believed Olivia. No one would listen to me now. I opened my laptop, looked at the evidence I'd compiled, file histories, timestamps, the differences between my current draft and the version Olivia had delivered. It was all there. Clear proof. But who would care now? The moment had passed. Olivia had won. I almost gave up, almost deleted everything and tried to move on. Then I saw it. An email in my inbox. Senior awards ceremony, June 15th. One more event. One more chance. One more audience. The school board would be there. The superintendent, all the teachers, parents. If I was going to expose Olivia, that was my moment. I had 2 weeks to prepare, 2 weeks to gather allies, 2 weeks to make sure everyone knew the truth. I started typing. The next morning, I went to see Mrs. Rodriguez. She was in her classroom grading papers. She looked up when I knocked. Emily, come in. I sat down. You texted me. I did. She put down her pen. I know Olivia's speech was yours. My throat tightened. How? Because you showed me an early draft. In March, I recognized every word. She leaned forward. That speech had your voice, your structure, your soul. Olivia couldn't write like that if she tried. Principal Hayes doesn't believe me. Principal Hayes has to answer to the school board. And Olivia's mother. She trailed off. But the award ceremony is different. The superintendent will be there. The entire school board. Press coverage. What are you saying? I'm saying you have one more chance, but you need undeniable proof. I pulled out my laptop, showed her everything. File histories, timestamps, email chains. She studied each piece carefully. This is good. But circumstantial. You need something concrete. Like what? She thought for a moment. The original document. Can you prove that your computer created that file first? The metadata shows creation date. March 15th. And when did Olivia access your laptop? April 2nd through 4th. It's all in the file history. Mrs. Rodriguez smiled. That's your smoking gun. You need more witnesses. Who else knew about your speech? I thought you, my parents, and... I paused. Jake from the school paper. I let him read it in April. Get him to write a statement. Dated, signed. And we need IT to verify your file history. Make sure it hasn't been tampered with. Mr. Kim, he's honest. He'll help if you ask. Over the next week, I built my case. Jake wrote a detailed statement. He remembered specific lines from my speech, dated April 10th, before Olivia ever claimed she'd written hers. Mr. Kim examined my laptop, pulled the complete file history, verified creation dates and access logs. This is pretty clear, he said quietly. Someone accessed your files remotely. Remotely, while you weren't logged in. They knew your password. Of course she did. I've given it to her once. Best friends share passwords, right? Mrs. Rodriguez helped me draft a presentation. 3 minutes. Clear, concise, devastating. You'll have exactly one shot at this, she warned. Make every second count. My mom helped me practice, over and over, until I could deliver it without shaking. Dad contacted a lawyer friend, just in case things get messy, he said. The award ceremony was in 3 days, then 2, then 1. The night before, Olivia texted. She'd unblocked herself somehow. Can't wait for awards tomorrow. Hope you're coming. The audacity was breathtaking. I didn't respond. The morning of the ceremony, I dressed carefully. Navy dress. Professional. Serious. I packed everything in my bag. Laptop, USB drives, printed evidence. Jake's statement, Mr. Kim's analysis. You ready? Mom asked. No, but I'm doing this anyway. We arrived early. The auditorium was decorated with banners, celebrating excellence in huge letters. I sat in the back with my parents, watched people file in. Teachers, students, school board members in the front row. The superintendent sat center stage. Dr. Williams, she looked stern, serious, perfect. Principal Hayes opened the ceremony, handed out awards. Academic achievement, perfect attendance, community service. Olivia won 3 awards. Of course she did. Each time she went on stage, she glowed. Then came the final announcement. Before we closed, Principal Hayes said, I'd like to recognize our valedictorian once more. Olivia Martinez has been accepted to Harvard with a full academic scholarship. More applause. Olivia stood, waved, soaked it in. This was my moment. I stood up. Excuse me, I said loudly. The auditorium went silent. Everyone turned. Principal Hayes frowned. Miss Chen, please sit. I have evidence that Olivia's graduation speech was plagiarized. From me. Gasps. Whispers. Olivia went pale. This is inappropriate. Principal Hayes said, then let's make it appropriate. I walked down the aisle. Dr. Williams, may I present my evidence? The superintendent looked intrigued. Principal Hayes, he looked trapped. I suppose. You have 2 minutes, Miss Chen, Dr. Williams said. Mrs. Rodriguez plugged in my laptop. The screen projected on the wall behind me. I had my moment. Now I had to make it count. My hand shook as I opened the first file. On March 15th, I wrote my graduation speech. I clicked. My document appeared on screen, metadata visible. Creation date is right here. People leaned forward, squinted at the details. On April 2nd, I lent my laptop to Olivia Martinez. Click. File access history. These timestamps show she opened my speech document multiple times. She copied it. That doesn't prove anything, Olivia's mother stood up. Students share work all the time. Then explain this. I played an audio file, my voice reading the speech. I recorded myself practicing. April 8th, before Olivia claimed she'd written hers. The auditorium was dead silent. Now compare it to what Olivia delivered. I played graduation footage side by side, word for word identical. Someone gasped, others whispered. Dr. Williams leaned forward. Miss Martinez, do you have your original draft? Olivia stood frozen. Her face had gone from pale to red. I don't, because I do, I said. Jake Thompson from the school paper read my speech on April 10th. I held up his signed statement. He confirms these exact lines. Before Olivia ever showed her draft to anyone, Mrs. Rodriguez spoke up from the side. I also saw Emily's speech in March. I can verify it was hers. This is ridiculous, Olivia's father shouted. Our daughter earned valedictorian, actually. Mr. Kim stood up. IT department. She didn't. Someone with administrative access changed Emily's chemistry grade. I pulled the logs. The change came from a school board member's account. Every eye turned to Olivia's mother. Her face said everything. Dr. Williams stood. Mrs. Martinez, is this true? I was correcting an error, she stammered. The grade was submitted wrong. My chemistry teacher never changed it, I said. I have his statement, too. The silence was crushing. Olivia burst into tears. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She looked at me, mascara running. You don't understand the pressure. My parents needed me to be valedictorian. We needed the scholarship money. I panicked. So you stole my speech, I said quietly. I didn't think you'd find out. I thought. She broke down completely. Her mother grabbed her arm. Don't say anything else. But it was too late. She'd confessed, in front of everyone, on camera. Dr. Williams's voice cut through the chaos. Principal Hayes, I need to see you immediately. Mrs. Martinez, you as well. She turned to the audience. The ceremony is concluded. Thank you for coming. People started talking at once. Pulling out phones, recording. Social media was about to explode. I stood there, shaking. My mom rushed to me, hugged me tight. You did it, she whispered. Olivia tried to approach me. Her dad pulled her back. They rushed out a side door, her mom following. Reporters were already gathering outside. Mrs. Rodriguez squeezed my shoulder. Well done, Emily. The next hour was chaos. The superintendent interviewed me privately, reviewed all my evidence. Called Harvard's admissions office. Jake found me afterward. Holy shit, Em. That was insane. Did I do the right thing? Are you kidding? She committed fraud, grade tampering, plagiarism. You absolutely did the right thing. My phone exploded with messages. People I hadn't heard from in years, former friends of Olivia's. Everyone wanted the story. By that evening, it was everywhere. Local news, social media. Valedictorian scandal rocks local high school. The headlines wrote themselves. My phone rang. Unknown number. Miss Chen, this is Harvard admissions. We'd like to talk. Olivia was stripped of valedictorian status. Her Harvard acceptance was revoked. The full scholarship disappeared. The school board forced Mrs. Martinez to resign. An investigation revealed she tampered with grades before. Other students had been affected. Parents threatened lawsuits. Principal Hayes retired early. Health reasons, they said. Everyone knew better. I was offered valedictorian. I declined. I don't need the title, I told Dr. Williams. I just needed the truth. Instead, they held a special ceremony. Small, just family and close friends. I gave my speech. My real speech. The updated version I'd been working on. It felt right. Quiet. Mine. Harvard. Caste system. Used her mother's influence to commit fraud. I just exposed it. The local news wanted interviews. I gave one. Talked about academic integrity, about standing up for yourself, about truth mattering. It aired the same day Olivia's story broke nationally. The valedictorian scandal weighed headlines for weeks. My inbox filled with messages, students from other schools sharing their own stories. Academic theft, grade tampering, corruption. You inspired me to speak up, one girl wrote. Thank you. That made it worth it. Senior week was strange. People treated me differently. Some avoided me, others wanted to be my friends suddenly. I spent most of it with Jake and a few close friends. People who had believed me from the start. Mrs. Rodriguez gave me a gift at graduation, a leather journal. For Stanford, she said, keep writing, keep speaking truth. I hugged her. Thank you for believing me. Truth always matters, Emily. Always. My actual graduation was quiet. I walked across that stage with my class, took my diploma, smiled for real this time. No speech, no spotlight, just me, graduating, moving forward. That summer, I got a letter, no return address. Olivia's handwriting. I'm sorry for what I did. I was desperate and stupid. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I'm trying to be better. Oh, I read it twice, folded it carefully, put it in a drawer. Maybe someday I'd forgive her. Maybe not. That wasn't today's problem. Stanford started in August. New city, new people, fresh start, but I brought the lessons with me. Trust carefully. Document everything. Stand up when something's wrong. And never, ever let someone steal your voice. My roommate asked about the scandal. Everyone had seen the news. Do you regret it? She asked. Exposing her like that, Leld? Back. We'd like to reconsider your application. But Stanford had already offered me a full ride. After the story went viral, they'd reached out, asked if I'd consider joining their incoming class. I said yes. Olivia's family moved away that summer, sold their house, left town quietly. I heard she enrolled in community college, lost all her scholarships, had to start over. Part of me felt guilty. I destroyed her life, publicly, permanently. But she'd made her choices. She'd stolen my work. I thought for a long moment. No, I said finally. I regret trusting the wrong person, but exposing the truth? Never. She nodded. That's badass. Maybe it was, or maybe it was just necessary. Either way, I survived, thrived, moved on. Olivia's betrayal taught me something valuable. People will disappoint you, systems will fail you, but your integrity is yours. No one can steal that unless you let them. I didn't let them. And 4 years later, when I graduated from Stanford, I gave a speech, a real one, about truth, about justice, about finding your voice and using it. No one stole it. No one could, because this time I knew exactly who I was.